So let me just say this is like the third time I've tried to do this video. I'm Best Boomer, back with you. I don't have products to show because I'm away from home, like I say, in the Prescott National Forest. Please consider subscribing and like and share this video if you like the content. What I'm going to talk about today is I finished reading that book that I mentioned in my last video. And so that book is The Rise of Victimhood Culture. And, education's always good. I'm not real sure I'm glad that I read this book. It basically speaks about what's going on in the colleges today, which is very concerning to me. So, like the book says, it's becoming a victimhood culture. You have to be very, very careful how you speak to students, how students speak to each other, how the administrators speak to students. There's something called a microaggression. And basically what that is it's an insult or an offense. It's subtle, but it's an offense to someone directed at a minority or another non-dominant group, and it can even be unintentional. But even if it's unintentional, you're held responsible for it, and it's very easy to do to offend somebody if they're looking for it. And so it's unfortunate. Some of the things that you can say that might offend somebody that would actually be considered a microaggression, as simple as asking them where they're from, because that implies that they're not from the United States. And isn't that something? You ask somebody when you first meet them. I wouldn't even think of that. But that can be a microaggression. Here's one for you. Saying all lives matter offends people. The Black Lives Matter movement, I'm learning more and more about that. And although the words sound so good, the meaning behind those words, or the group that's really putting that forward, are socialists. And they're trying to change our country, totally change our country. They're, hitting the hot buttons, getting people upset, pitting the races against each other, and just wreaking havoc in our country. That's what Black Lives Matters means to me. And I hope that people really read their mission statement, do some research on the internet, and find out what it's really about. Because, there's some words that can be said between people who they know how the other feels even. I mean, they're friends, and one supports it and one doesn't. And it's like, I think really we're good people are supporting the same thing, okay? And it's the ones who are trying to incite chaos that are supporting the Black Lives Matter, according to the mission statement. So, but that's some microaggression. Okay, I didn't really know that, but I found out. Saying you are a credit to your race, that one I understand. I don't think that you should say that, even though it might not be intentional. What you're doing is putting the rest of the race down. Staring at lesbians or gays that are expressing their affection openly in public. Have you ever been, guilty of that? Well, I'll tell you that I don't even like seeing heterosexual couples putting their affections on display to any great degree in public. I would say go get a room. And so, but I do understand where they're coming from that one. clutching your purse tight to your body when you see a black person pass. Okay? That one I need a little more information than just a black person passing me. If you do that as a matter of course and you group every black person together into a group of criminals, somebody to be afraid of, that's not right. That's not what I believe. We're all individuals, and I'd have to have a little more information. If you look like a bum, black or white, I'm going to clutch my purse, probably put it over my head and wear a shoulder, strap, crossbody style. Those are examples of microaggressions. And it's so serious on college campuses that people are losing their jobs. Administrators are losing their jobs for offending students by doing things that you would never, ever think would be offensive. And it's crazy, absolutely crazy. And this same kind of thinking is passing down into grade schools too. Not wanting to offend any group to the point where they're rewriting history into narratives that fit their narrative. Nobody wants to be portrayed as the underdog or and you know what? It happened in history. And I think, as you hear over and over, if you erase your history, you're bound to repeat it. We should not be erasing our history in any way, shape, or form. And it's scary when these things are, institutionalized in grade schools and high schools. That's how your kids are being brought up. Well, it's no wonder we got all these kids out, rebel rousing, rioting, destroying property, being, self-absorbed, self-entitled brats. It's just, it's no wonder. That's the way they're being educated, and it's very, very scary. They can't have a conservative speaker in colleges because it might offend somebody. They have safe spaces where the students can go. If they're offended, their poor little ears, if they hear something that hurts their feelings or, they can go into this safe space and, the instructor will kind of calm them down. And what is the world coming to? It's beyond belief. So the cultures, this book talks about the change in our cultures. Years and years ago, it was the honor culture. That's like Alexander Hamilton. Remember the duel he got into and he was killed? Well, that was the culture then. If somebody dissed you and your honor was called into question, you had to stand up for it to the point of, entering into a duel. That's the way it was. Well, thank God it's not that way now. It kind of, slowly over years and years and years changed into a dignity culture. Now, the dignity culture is the one that I would say, my generation would adhere to. That's the one where you say, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Really, if it's not if it's not physical, let it go. Let it go. And you'll be miles ahead. Sometimes it's hard to do, but just let it go. Well, this culture is morphing into the victimhood culture. And that's what we're seeing in the schools. And that's where the snowflake term comes from. Those kids that are so fragile. And you're going to hurt their feelings. You can't even be careful enough because sometimes you don't know it. What you're saying, you don't even know it's offensive until after the fact. For God's sakes, I guess to me the dignity of, in my life is I don't care what anybody says. And if you say I can't do something, by God, I'll do it. that's the way I am, and nobody's going to control my thoughts or feelings or how far I can go. Who's going to, I can't believe people, well, it's easier. Like I said, it's easier, and there's something in it for the people who are practicing it. It's been weaponized, and if they can do it enough, they can get something for nothing, coddled. They have an excuse then for why they're not successful, and so it does serve a purpose. And when you understand that, you understand, some of the why they're doing it, but there is no dignity in that. And I frankly would be embarrassed, but that's what it's coming to. I would recommend that book, but it'll piss you off so bad. I don't know if you can finish reading it. But anyway, I guess that's about it for today. I wish I had, some things to bring to you, but I don't since I'm not home. But I really enjoy the walk and talks. It gets me out, and I get my walk in and kind of am able to put some thoughts out there. And please feel free always to comment. Ask me to research anything that you'd like to research. I'm always reading, always trying to make sense out of things that don't make sense. So I'm Best Boomer. I'll talk to you again on Tuesday. So stay safe out there with everything that's going on. And have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.